Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome one, welcome all. It's still the Morning Crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Yes, indeed, a heated conversation, of course, and the heated topic right here on Nigeria Info. Indeed, in Nigeria happens to be the plan to end bad governance protests in the country, and of course, but we cannot take our eyes off what is happening in other parts of the world. And this morning, we're doing justice to the forthcoming United States elections in 2024. Of course, we know that Joe Biden, the candidate, or the presumptive candidate, rather, of the Democratic Party, has stepped aside from that race and is throwing his weight behind Kamala Harris, who is the Vice President of America. We also know what happened to Donald Trump, the now no longer presumptive candidate of the Republican Party, but Donald Trump is the candidate of the Republican Party for that election, and he's already picked his vice. They've been nominated and affirmed by the Republican Party at the RNC that held some days ago, Republican National Convention. But this was no ordinary convention, because it came just days after Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt. Just days after Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt. Anyway, we'll talk about all that. Joined this morning by the Director General of the Heritage Center. He's an international affairs analyst. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Katch Ononuju, who joins us virtually, and we'll be talking about this issue very quickly. Dr. Ononuju, good morning to you. Okay, he's getting set to come on. Doc, good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's good being here with you on this particular morning when history is being made in America. The words of President Ford has come to light. A woman will emerge, and the woman has emerged today for a candidate that has a woman problem. It's so exciting that within 24 hours of Kamala Harris announcing she's available for the elections, she has now joined Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama to be the three top people who are on top of Donald Trump in the opinion poll. So these are very exciting times going forward in American elections and in global history. And let's see how this is going to work out.
Quite interesting the way you put it. You know that she has come out to face the man who has a woman problem. it's so amazing. I was telling some persons that 100 days is such a short time in politics. With the whole Donald mania, or should I say the euphoria, and the outpouring of support for Donald Trump after he survived the assassination attempt. He was the talk of town. People were crying for him. Even his opponents were sympathizing with him. President Joe Biden had to cut his trip, go back to the White House, and made a speech for Donald Trump twice. But I was telling somebody 4 months or 100 days is a long time in politics, and things can change. What do you say to that? The way things the tide seems to be. Do you agree the tide is changing against Donald Trump?
You wouldn't say the tide is changing. The tide changed for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a danger to the world, so felt the Democrats and the people in Europe. Trump is not just about the United States. Trump's about the New World Order. There is suddenly now an upsurge of protestations by very white Americans against the browning of the United States. And of course, Trump is running on that. And Trump seems to be running against Joe Biden, who, beneath the skin, is another white male. So what do we now have? In the heat of affirmation of blackness by artists like Kendrick Lamar, we now have the opportunity of putting a black woman, Kamala Harris, on the ballot. And that means the biggest problems that Biden has, which is the anger from the young black male due to his wars, two wars, which I believe are avoidable. The war in Ukraine was avoidable and very wrong for the U.S. to trick Ukraine into going into it. The war in Israel, I don't think that's a very good war, and you've seen how very much young black people are not happy about that war. So if you're not to put a black woman, Kamala Harris, on the ballot, plus those who resent Donald Trump and what he means for the ending of the American century, I think we are back to square one all over again. And a very, very, very interesting time for Americans.
Quite interesting indeed. Quite interesting indeed. For those of you listening, please feel free to call 0201-277-0993, 0201-277-0993. That's our number. You can also call a female line, 0201 465-7190, 0201-465-7190. WhatsApp is 0809-597-5805. That's a WhatsApp number, 0809-597-5805. Dr. Ononuju, why should Nigerians be interested in just following this American election?
Well, whatever happens in America affects the world. Nigerians are very afraid about Donald Trump. They're very afraid about his anti-African policies. Nigerians are very afraid because they know Donald Trump is a racist and he doesn't hide it. If you also look at the foundational issues that brought about Donald Trump was a reaction to Obama becoming a president. Who is Obama? The first black man to become a U.S. president. So it was in reaction to that browning of the United States and its politics that Donald Trump got thrown up. And as I can tell you, you can see that even in Europe itself, a lot of the extreme rednecks are coming back to power. And that is Donald Trump. So that we will be very, very much at a very risky world if from the United States down to Hungary, through the rest of Europe, all you have are suddenly the rise of the right. No. This is how Hitler rose, like joke. I know it was the wrong thing to engage in both the Israeli war and also the war in Ukraine for Mr. Biden, but putting Donald Trump at the head of the resurgence of the extreme right across the Western world is a very dangerous thing. So for me, it's a good one that we should temper that by electing a black woman. And in this case, Kamala Harris. That's what I see. And I can see that the rest of the party are beginning to come behind President Biden in his support for Vice President Kamala Harris. I think she can do it. I think we should support her. I believe that can actually situate those Africans and Nigerians who are very afraid of what the second coming of the Trump presidency could mean for them. Issues of immigration. We know Trump has already said what he wants. He doesn't want the browning of America to continue. He wants everybody to stay home. He calls us people from a shithole country. And we understand that. Yes, we may not be the very best when it comes to nation building, but Trump is not the very best to be added to our already existing problems.
Interesting way you put it there. You don't need him to be added to the existing problem. So you see Trump as a problem. When Trump survived that assassination attempt, it seems the national mood in America swung in his favor. He surged up the opinion poll ratings, and even his opponents, saw that as a critical juncture in American democracy. Do you feel that euphoria or that sense of support, even if it's sympathy support for Donald Trump, do you think it's waned or it's reducing because of Kamala Harris's emergence?
Well, Kamala Harris simply tells you that Trump's problems haven't gone. If one of the Trump problems is so much resentment from the Republican Party, causing some of the Republicans to want to do him harm, that's not his real problem. His real problem is his actions that seems to affect ordinary Americans, and as I stated earlier, the rest of the world. So I believe that he should be allowed to face the devils that actually do confront him, and the women issue is one of them. I am very happy that Trump is not very comfortable with Kamala Harris because we simply go back to his original problem, women problem. And Kamala Harris represents that. Apart from that, Kamala Harris is a black woman and she has link to us Nigerians. And I think we should support her. I do not see anything different from what Trump is. You talk about sympathy. Yes, there should be sympathy at a man for such elaborate stagings were arranged for. I do not tolerate such violence against politicians. I condemn it, and I condemn those behind it. But it also goes to show you how very shoddy these things can be. The Secret Service were warned about somebody who was climbing upstairs with a gun, and they didn't do a thing, only to take the person out when the bullet didn't kill Trump. I just suspect all that not to be proper, and I'm still waiting to hear the last about that attempt on Trump's life. As they said, you saw the media in Europe said the bullet was targeted at Trump, but it killed Biden. And so I see that for what it is. As far as I'm concerned, as undesirable as Donald Trump is, because Donald Trump simply represents the European reaction to the browning of America. And I think Trump should be removed from the road, and then let us see what it is. If it is time for women, as President Ford talked about, it is the same. An elderly president like President Biden who's not able to continue. And that tells you, I pray our politicians in Nigeria become as patriotic as Biden. Biden was shown all the truth that his presidency, he's been on the ballot, could actually drag down the Democratic Party, causing them to erode their strength in both the Senate and in the House of Representatives. And he agreed, for the sake of the party, for the sake of the country, for the patriotic zeal that runs in President Biden gave up his second term for the sake of country. When Nigerian politicians start thinking for sake of country, they don't think about that. They don't care. Look at people working at the presidency trying to ratchet up tribal emotions without caring about the sake of country. Look at people at the time when the country is economically challenged. We are spending so much money on luxury for politicians when average Nigerians cannot make 3 square meals. This is not fair. And so I pray politicians around the world could become as patriotic as President Biden has shown, not through his rhetoric, but through his actions. I commend President Biden for this singular act. He actually has done well for the world, and I believe, as they said when I was growing up in Port Harcourt, as I saw in the waterside, a rising tide, they said, lifts all boats. I believe President Biden's actions by stepping down has shown the world how to truly be a statesman, and I commend him for it.
All right. I remember the watersides of Abonima Wharf. I remember the watersides of Marine Bays. Even Iwofe waterside in Port Harcourt, I can't forget.
That is right. Abonima Wharf waterside, Nembe waterside, as you know, yes, Afibo waterside,
yes,
even Nanka waterside, where we go to buy goat belly to go catch traps. So we have all that waterside spread all over, including the ever-present Elechi Beach. I grew up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All that along Ilabuchi, those were my homestead growing up as a child. On the riverbanks of Port Harcourt.
Ilabuchi all the way even to Eagle Island and all that. All right, interesting. Good to know. No wonder you and I, we flow well. Let's go to the phone lines and see what Lagos and indeed Nigerians are saying about Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and the United States election. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, QB.
Welcome. Your name, please, and location and contribution.
This is Pastor Ladi.
Welcome, Pastor Ladipo.
First and foremost, I want to ask your guest, what is the origin of the blackness of Kamala Harris? That is one. Because I think it's somehow related to the Asia more. That is one. Two, are we looking at the competency to deliver, or we are looking at Trump as someone we don't just like at all at all? That is my question to him.
All right, thank you very much. Because I listened to Judge Joe Brown. He's talking about the blackness of Kamala Harris. You know, because I listened to Judge Joe Brown, who said she ain't black. Yeah, who said that she ain't black. Dr. Ononuju, are you there? So I listened to Judge Joe Brown, a black American, who said that Kamala Harris ain't black. She ain't black. So he's asking, what are the African or the black origins or the black credentials of Kamala Harris, who has Indian roots? Over to you, sir. Yeah, Dr. Ononuju, are you there?
She is black.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris is black. Whatever it is, once there is a black blood in your chemistry, you are a black person. She may have Indian root. She has black root. She's a black woman, and that way accepts. She has nothing to do with those, and she doesn't hide away from her blackness. Don't forget, her son-in-law is actually a Nigerian. So let's not be playing that game. Kamala Harris is black, and that is it. That's the much black that we've gotten close. Obama is also black. You know, people could have raised such things about him. So people with cross breedings are black. Obama is black because his mother was white and the father is black. And the same thing with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is black because, yes, the mom comes from India, but the father came from the West Indies. She is black, and we accept her as black, and we are happy having her as black. She is our in-law. We are Nigerians, and she is black enough for us.
All right. So if Obama was black enough, then Kamala is also black enough. Dr. Ononuju, please shift your seat a bit to your right because of the sun behind you. I don't know if you could adjust. So
okay, I will do that. I will do that right
now. Yeah, because of the sun.
Okay, I think I can see you right now. I could also do it much better way.
Yes, you can face the sun. Yes, sir. All right, fantastic. This is better, way better. Thank you very much. I like the nature behind you. All right, let's take another call. 99.3. Good morning.
Kofi Bartels, good morning.
Welcome. Your name and contribution, please.
Emeka is my name from Satellite House.
Welcome, Emeka.
I am also glad that Kamala Harris is stepping up in the place of Joe Biden. And like your guest rightly said, I think Joe Biden has capped his entire tenure with this statesmanship and patriotism that he demonstrated by putting country first. He took into cognizance all the advice from the fellow Democrats, and they would put the chances before him that his chances of winning were non-existent. He considered his party and the country and decided to step down. Now, I'm sure Kamala Harris will do well because not only has she been a district attorney, she has grown over the ranks. She was Biden's vice president. And I'm sure that she will be more diplomatic in her approach to issues, especially now that the world is at the brink of a third world war. Unlike the rhetoric of Donald Trump that has continued to stoke tensions all over the world. So I'm sure we're going to give all our support to Kamala Harris, and I pray and hope that she becomes the first female president of the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Bye. Okay, thank you, Roger Mecca. Dr. Ononuju, interesting words are coming from that listener. So are we saying Donald Trump's, because of popularity, the surge in emotional support and sympathy support for him after he received that bullet and narrowly escaped death, seemed to have pushed his approval ratings up. And at that time, some people said that, it's a foregone conclusion. Trump has won the election. There is no way Trump can lose this election after surviving it. So what are we saying? What are you saying now, sir?
Suddenly now, in the past 48 hours, the new opinion polls that came out saw not one, as it was the case before, which Michelle Obama became the only woman that was on top of Trump. 3 women today are on top of Trump in the opinion poll. They are Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, and wait for it, Hillary Clinton. So that tells you if the women are today, despite what you call a surge in popularity due to the sympathy he got from the attempt on him,
Yeah.
Suddenly, women are now on top.
Dr. Ononuju, please hold the
You
thought.
should ask
We'll come
yourself.
back from a commercial break and then I'll allow you to talk some more about this. Quite interesting. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Go for gold, Terra Gold Cube, the amazing seasoning cube. So when you're cooking your delicious meals, don't compromise. Go for gold.
Rich, consistent taste for cooking mouth-watering soups, stews, and jollof. Choose wisely. Choose Gold. Terra Gold Seasoning Cube.
One cube, endless possibilities. Terra Gold. Imagine thinking you bought an unlimited data plan, but the next thing we hear is,
Oh, this data has finished again.
well, that's what happens when you don't buy a truly unlimited data plan.
Enjoy truly unlimited data with unlimited speed-based data plans from Airtel. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to buy now. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Big Boo Rice. Big Boo Rice, yeah, in the pot. 7 it up, I stay hot. Stone free premium parboiled rice. Big Boo in the pot. So nutritious and tasty. Serve it up with style. A cooking delight for that great party jollof rice. Big Boo Rice, yeah.
Big Boo long grain parboiled rice contains protein and fiber, a source of vitamin B, and is great for all rice dishes. Big Boo Rice, tasty rice, nourished you.
Hey there! Yes, you! You just won 5,000 Naira cash. And you, sitting by the side, there's 1 month Showmax subscription to watch the Premier League waiting for you. You behind. Of course, you're not left out. How does 1,000 Naira airtime and 2,000 Naira Uber discount sound? All this could come true when you buy the No Unwrap and Win pack. Open it, look for a with a 6-digit code on its wrapper, text the code to 8011 and follow the prompts to stand a chance to win any of these instant prizes. Promo valid from July till December. Terms and conditions apply. Get extra value on the No Unwrap and Win pack. No, eat for good.
He done of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you the wine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you they talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I no know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said
HFM.com.
Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
That special secret that awakens taste buds. Mouth-watering wonder with awesome aroma. Terra Seasoning Cubes.
Terra Seasoning Cube turns your meals into a masterpiece.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste. Hey, come cook with Terra Cubes. Come cook with Terra.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron needs.
And Cerelac Junior tastes so good.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
In every part of the country, Wema Bank is there, serving the needs of every Nigerian. From the child whose dreams are as big as the sky, but in need of a head start. Young tech-driven innovators in search of a financial provider to support their novel ideas. The bold and confident boss lady in need of tailored financial services to fulfill her everyday business needs and maximize her potential. The elderly who want a stress-free day-to-day banking experience anytime, anywhere at their fingertips. The small and medium-scale entrepreneurs who need a partner to help transition from startup to scale-up. We are the backbone of every endeavor, creating value for all and fulfilling dreams for over 79 years. Wema Bank, the bank that works for everyone and stays with you all the way.
Mommy, yes? You're cooking again? My sister, you know I like to keep my family happy.
So you use Tasty Tom?
Of course.
This stew is so red and thick.
Tasty Tom tomato mix enriches my meals with an appealing and appetizing red color.
So Tasty Tom is this red and thick?
Yes, so.
It's also tasty.
Can we have more, please?
I am going to get my own Tasty Tom tomato mix. My family deserves to be happy too.
Yes, sir. With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can give your family more of meals that make them happy. It's thick, tasty, and enriches your meals with an appealing red color. It's enriched with vitamins and fiber that are good for the body. Tasty Tom for tasty meals.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. It's still the Morning Crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We still have with us International Affairs Analyst and Director General of the Heritage Center, Abuja, Dr. Katch Ononuju, with us right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Kofi Bartels. We're looking at the 2024 United States presidential elections. Matters arising, of course. A lot has happened in the past couple of weeks. We've had Donald Trump surviving an assassination attempt. I mean, I'm sure if they woke someone as experienced and as informed as Dr. Ononuju from his sleep and told him Donald Trump will be an assassination victim, he may not have believed it. But that's the United States of America, where anything can happen. The first time in a long time such an attempt has happened. We remember what happened to the likes of Kennedy, and now we have Barack Obama. Well, apart from that, another big event that shook the United States politics happens to be the resignation or the stepping aside of President Joe Biden from the 2024 presidential race. A lot of people did not see that coming. And his vice president, Kamala Harris, has been pushed or thrust to the forefront of the Democratic Party's push to retain the White House in 2024. Now, our guest has informed us that on the opinion polls in the United States of America, there are 3 women above Donald Trump as we speak. Apart from Kamala Harris, he's talked about Michelle Obama, and he's also talked about Hillary Clinton, who Donald Trump always calls Crooked Hillary. But let's leave that apart. But he's also told us that Donald Trump has a new problem. Donald Trump has a new problem. Despite the outpour of emotion and support for Donald Trump following his survival of that assassination attempt, Dr. Katch Ononuju feels that this might just be a masterstroke from the Democrats, that Donald Trump has a new problem, that his woman problem has come back to haunt him, is what our guest is saying. So some of us or some of you might have felt Donald Trump has won the election already because of that assassination attempt. May have to have a rethink, according to our guests. Your thoughts are welcome. 0201-277-0993 is the studio line. 0201-277-0993. And, of course, our female line, 0201-465-7190. 0201-465-7190 are the numbers to call. Now, Dr. Ononuju, before we went on the break, you were trying to make a point, buttress your point, that, yes, despite Donald Trump's, survival of that assassination attempt, and the fact that some people felt he had already won the election because of that, it is not yet uhuru for him. So I'll just give you some time to conclude before I pick the next call. Sir.
As I was trying to say, well, as you've seen right now, Donald Trump has women's problem. Donald Trump has already suffered a conviction in the New York court in regards to his women problem. Women have now come out to come and challenge Donald Trump with the exit of President Biden. And you know what they're going to be. Trump will have problem trying to explain from one part to the other. But the biggest issue added to it is the issue of women reproductive rights. Trump backed the upturning of Roe versus Wade, and that is the historical abortion ruling that has been on the books for more than 50 years. But with Trump's machinations and Trump's plays, that had now been undermined by court rulings. So, with women now on the ballot against Trump, and the women issues, they're coming back to hunt Trump, and the issue of women reproductive rights coming back to actually take center stage on the ballot, with someone like Kamala Harris and others also talking about the rights of women in a democratic society. You should understand that Trump's crisis has taken a new life on their own. I don't really see Trump getting out of this kind of trouble, because from now on, what he will fight against is his records on women. And you know what that means for Donald Trump.
Interesting, very interesting indeed. Like some will say, 100 days is a long time in politics. Anything can happen. And this is just a lesson on that. Sir, you talked about the fact that Trump's convictions, before the courts, his impeachment and all that, his ongoing court cases may affect him. But some will say that is rather made him a martyr or a hero of sorts amongst the right and amongst Republicans and MAGAs, or MAGA supporters. What do you say to that?
Well, if the MAGA issue is when you pitch Trump with another white man, but nobody's ever pitched Trump with those that he fears most. Trump fears women. Trump fears minorities. Trump fears black people. And now he is faced with a black woman. He's faced with something he never expected. Because nobody ever talks about Kamala Harris when it was Biden versus Trump. Now, it is Trump against black America. It is Trump against women. It never mind all those things about MAGA. All those about MAGAs and Antifa and all that has to do with America's tolerance for colors. But now we have Trump's own problem, not America's problem. And because Trump also represents, in a way to speak, some kind of America's fundamental issue, because what you see the average white man react towards Trump, that tells you how he also feels towards people of color. So now that Trump is front and center, facing a woman of color, facing a woman, with all those issues, as I told you earlier there, the issue about affirmative actions for women's reproductive rights, it is there. So let's not forget it. It's not about Biden. It's about the issues. And these issues are here. Trump has already suffered a conviction in court in regards to women. So let's now see him against women. It is going to be Trump against women going forward in this election.
My, oh my. I just love the way you put it. He has a new problem. It reminds me of the movie where they said, Houston, we have a problem. Anyway, it's so dramatic, really, how things can change. But we'll look at that as we go on. We want to pick some calls now. But for those of you who are trying to keep up with the conversations and the issues, don't forget Joe Biden made a decision to step down from the 2024 presidential race more than 3 weeks after he had a disastrous debate performance. And that disastrous debate performance elevated concerns about Joe Biden's age. He's 81 years old, and led more than 3 dozen Democratic lawmakers to publicly urge him to step aside. Now, Biden lost his train of thought and gave an incoherent answer to a question just minutes into that debate, which held on June 27, with Trump, one of the several, instances in which he struggled to have any coherent speech, during that debate. In fact, Biden spoke with a rough voice, a hoarse voice during that debate, and seldom reacted when Trump was speaking, often standing with a blank stare on his face, his mouth agape. And of course, by the end of that debate, which lasted for 90 minutes, the Democratic Party was in panic mode. it was in panic mode, and that's where we are today. Sir, before I come to you, I want to pick some calls and then ask you further questions right here. We have listeners very interested in this. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Wale. I'm calling from Magodo.
All right, Wale, good to hear from you. What's your contribution, please?
Okay, what I want to say is that Donald Trump was president in 2016 for 4 years. While he was president, the American economy was fine. The world was peaceful. Everything was going on well. Then these people came in. The whole world is in turmoil. Russia has destroyed Ukraine. Israel is under attack. Everywhere is wrong. And this man and your guest keep saying that Trump is the problem. And he said he has a woman problem. It was the woman that actually defeated in 2016. And he said in the polls too that Kamala is leading. He should tell us the poll, which one that Kamala is leading in. Not just say the poll. Tell us the poll so that we can check it now. I'll call back and tell you whether it's lying or not.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate calling. Sir, he's talked about, I saw Donald Trump 45%, Kamala Harris 35% this morning, Joe Biden 30%, So he's asking which poll you're referring to, because he believes that Donald Trump is still leading in those opinion polls. But also, he's saying that when Trump was president, the world was more peaceful. Russia had not invaded Ukraine. Israel and the Palestinian region didn't have any crisis or Hamas. And the American economy was stable and was doing fine under Donald Trump. Doc, what do you say to that?
Well, the American economy is performing better today than when Donald Trump was president. Trump's own promotions of his rule is a different thing from what the records say. During Donald Trump's period, I agree we had peace. I also blame Mr. Biden for the crisis in Russia, because if not for his prompting, Russia wouldn't have gone on to preemptively invade. I believe it was Mr. Biden's mistake in not respecting the 1994 agreement given to Russia by Mr. Reagan at the crumbling of the Berlin Wall, that Russia will be well protected as the West wouldn't want to push NATO towards the East. It is breaking that. But that's issues about Biden. Biden is gone. And we should leave that. I'm only just trying to analyze what is today happening. Right now, the polls we've seen, which were quite good, pitching the lady, you might see a different kind of poll, but I have seen poll that put not only Michelle Obama, but Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris in very strong stead against Trump, and that gives me some kind of confidence. Don't also forget, in the last election that Americans went to, the issue about women reproductive rights was front and center, and that helped the Democrats to win a lot of seats. With a woman running, it becomes front and center.
Yeah,
and whatever it is, we who do not understand Trump talk about Trump.
Dr. Ononuju, he's talking about Hillary Clinton. That Trump ran against Clinton and he defeated her, so he doesn't have a woman problem.
Well, he didn't defeat her. He won. She won the plural vote,
popular vote,
and Trump won technically through the electoral college. Now, whatever that is, that has to do with them. If it is the same thing as the polls are showing, that the women have more of the plural votes, let's say her place. There were mistakes that were made by Mrs. Clinton then. They didn't, on the last days, push to get the vote out during the voting session. I do not see that recurring again. Whatever it is that we may have about Donald Trump, I like Donald Trump for simple reason. The wars will stop. But of course, there are far more dangerous things that will come with a very white America. The resurgence of Make America Great Again, it doesn't bode well for the black population. I believe in an inclusive America. I believe in an inclusive Europe. I do not believe that the rise of the right is anything good across the Western Hemisphere. I believe people should learn to accommodate different colors, and that's why I think it's not good for Trump to now mark the resurgence of the right across all of the Western Hemisphere. I think that's very, very dangerous for the world's politics going forward, I think the world should remain as progressive as it's been for us to be able to solve a lot of our problems. The sudden reactions by the white people simply due to the coming of a black president in President Obama, I think that is misplaced. I believe nobody can stop the browning of society. I think that we should welcome inclusiveness, and that's what Trump does not represent. Trump does not represent an inclusive brown in America, whatever that means.
All right.
I think he believes he is what he is for those who are for him.
All right.
I don't think Trump is good news for the world.
Okay, interesting. We have a next listener. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. Your name, location, and contribution, please.
Yeah, my name is Max. I'm calling from Ikoyi.
Welcome, Max.
Yeah, thank you, Kofi. You see, I find what your guest is saying very unfortunate. He has said a lot of things that I consider very wrong. At first, he said Nigerians don't love Trump. I can tell you affirmatively that there are more supporters of Trump in Nigeria than any other Democrat or any Democrat for that matter. We love Trump in Nigeria. We love him very much. He also said Kamala Harris is a black woman. Kamala Harris is an Indian Jamaican. She's not a black woman. Thirdly, for crying out loud, what has the blacks in America, especially people like Obama, what did they do for Nigeria? It was Obama that put us in the mess that we're in today, when he literally forced Jonathan out of office. It was Obama that went to Libya and destroyed Libya. And that particular destruction is still destroying and affecting Africa as we speak today. What has the Democrats done for Africa?
Okay.
The world is in turmoil today. Kofi, give me a few minutes.
No, you have 1 minute, yeah.
Okay, the world is in turmoil today because of Democrats, because of Biden.
Okay, so let's allow, sorry, because of time. Yeah. So hold on. What's your name again, please?
My name is Max, Barrister Max.
Okay, Dr. Ononuju, he said that he disagrees with you. He believes that more Nigerians love Donald Trump as opposed to what he said you said. Number two, he says that Kamala Harris is not black. She's Indian Jamaican. Even though you said that Kamala Harris has father is Caribbean and mother is Indian. And then number three, he said that the Democrats destroyed Nigeria, the part of the contributor to where Nigeria is today. Obama sent his forces into Libya and destroyed Libya and all that. So they are not good for the world. So I want you to respond to those 3 points he's made. Dr. Ononuju.
Yes, I agree. Obama's foray into Nigerian politics forced Buhari upon us, upon prudence from Qatar, for him to come there and bring Buhari to Nigeria. I blame Obama for that, yes. I also do not agree with him about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has a Jamaican father and he is a black person. Whether you call it Indian or anything, Indians are black people. And under the U.S. law, Kamala Harris is seen as a black person, and we accept her for that. So yes, the Democrats, due to their bad politics, undermine Nigeria. But then it does not mean that we should see a man whose open racism is unbridled and promote him. That open racism will encourage other people who are also racist to become quite strong in their affirmation publicly of racism. And because I condemn racism, that's why I condemn anything that promotes racism. Whatever you think, racism in America, it's something bad for race relations across the world. And because of that, I do say I do not accept that. And that particular way that him and his people have done, I reject it.
Okay.
I reject racism. I reject the MAGA movement.
All right.
Whatever it is that Africans may see and fantasize about Trump, Trump is no good news for Africa.
Well, Dr.
Racism is no good because racism excludes Africans. Racism is something that rises to actually stop the growth and inclusion of colored people like me and you, and that's why I'm against the rise of MAGA.
Dr. Ononuju, you are a key member of the Labour Party. In fact, you worked with Peter Obi as, I think, one of his advisors. I'm trying to get the right nomenclature here. But A lot of supporters of the party you worked for during the last election, Labour Party, are supporters of Donald Trump. And some will argue that a lot of Nigerians are supporters of Donald Trump. I mean, I've seen Trump T-shirts around the place, especially with the religious inclinations of Nigerians who see Trump as somebody who will fight, LGBTQ issues, who is against abortion, who loves God, as he says he does, and all that, who has held up the Bible before, one of those days when he was president, and he doesn't, shy away from mentioning the name Jesus. So that resonates with a lot of Nigerians. Sir.
Yes, you have mentioned that I serve as a special advisor to Peter Obi on public affairs. But that does not keep me blinded from the truth and realities of where we're going to. Kamala Harris is a black woman, and I support her because she's black. Kamala Harris has policies that I believe would allow Africans to stay inclusive. The mistake of a few white people does not mean I should condemn everybody who seems to be associated with her. Biden is not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a person, and she was brought upon that particular ticket to balance it. Why? Biden is an average white man and very close to Trump in his hidden ways towards black people, no matter what you see. The real black person on that ticket is Kamala Harris, and I support her. And that's where I stand. I do not want to, because some people think the things Trump says are appealing to them, they follow Trump, and then I should follow the bandwagon. No, I'm a leader, and mine is simply to provide guidance, and that's what I do, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, Dr. Ononuju,
yes?
Yeah, before we run out of time, you talked about three names. You mentioned three names. Talk about three women. Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, and believe it or not, Hillary Clinton, who I don't know if she can make a comeback. Amongst these three, who do you think stands the best chance of matching Donald Trump and defeating him if made Democratic candidate?
Amongst the three women, whoever is put on the ballot, we will support for the sake of inclusion of women in world affairs.
But who stands the best? Who stands the best chance?
I am not a member of the Democratic caucus that will decide this at the Democratic convention. All I know is I would like a woman to come to power, whatever it is, whoever it is, and however it comes from. Right now, Kamala Harris seems to be enjoying that support. If tomorrow it is Mrs. Michelle Obama, that I will still support.
So some have said that Michelle. Some have said Michelle is the best, person who can tackle Trump because of her public speaking prowess, because of her record as first lady, and because of the goodwill she enjoys amongst Americans.
I share the same opinion, but then as a Democrat, I am inclined to accept whoever comes up through the democratic process as set up by the party as they near towards their convention. And whatever comes at that convention, I think we should be ready to accept. But they already know what we're looking for. We want a woman to face Trump. Let it be that Trump will now be up against women. Let us not hide the bad face of evil. Let's show it for what it is. I blame Biden for the war in Ukraine. And I blame him for supporting Israel's unbridled slaughter of young people, women, and children in Palestine. And that's the reason why the average young black man in America is against Biden. And now Biden is out of the way. So let us reconstruct and find ways. It's just like Nigeria. That I didn't like what Buhari did doesn't mean I will hate everybody in the APC. That's not true. So you must pick and choose in regards to persons and policies, because there are a lot of policies that I believe Biden pursued that I think the woman would not pursue.
All right.
It's because of his making. And that way I also see some policies which Buhari pursue, which I believe Tinubu will never pursue.
All right, Dr.
And that's how I make my own opinion.
Interesting. We'll pair you with a Nigerian Republican next time, and then we'll have an interesting conversation. I look forward to that. But thank you very much for your time, Dr. Katch Ononuju, DG of the Heritage Center, Abuja. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Mom's love is pure. It's so no she does. Mom's special jollof puts a smile on your.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.